Is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
It's especially a problem when there's lots of road glare in the rain and sometimes in the fog.
Blinded by the light, LED headlights are helping drivers see, but is it at the expense of others on the road? How you can weigh in on the debate.
I've promised mothers and babies I'd be there for them, and it's just a terrible situation.
Parents in limbo, why a bureaucratic nightmare could force a BC midwife to leave the country. Plus, Adam finds out how making lists has inspired an 80-year-old View Royal woman to lead an adventurous life. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. LED headlights are being thrust into the spotlight in a survey by Transport Canada. The new technology is helping drivers see better. The not-so-bright side to them, though, some say the intensity is blinding others on the road. CTV's Brendan Strain reports.
If you've been blinded by newer LED headlights in oncoming traffic, you're not alone.
There are many people writing to me in my column about the issue.
Retired police officer and now the Times columnist, road safety columnist, says the ability for industry to manufacture powerful headlights has outpaced the government's ability to regulate them properly.
We used to have headlights that operated in a range of about 1 to 2,000 lumens. These modern headlights operate in a range of 3 to 4,000 lumens, which is way brighter.
On top of that, older style bulbs used to be of an amber color. The trend now is more of a blue tinge, which Ducker says is harder on the eyes of oncoming drivers.
And this is especially a problem when there's lots of road glare in the rain and sometimes in the fog.
I think it's one of those things that a lot of people have experienced. I've experienced it, certainly.
In February, Victoria City Councillor Dave Thompson put forth a motion requesting the mayor pen a letter to both the federal and provincial government, encouraging them to undertake a comprehensive review of recent motor vehicle design trends.
That they basically take as seriously the lives of people outside of motor vehicles as we're taking seriously inside.
In January, that motion passed.
I was really glad to see that it got unanimous support at Victoria City Council. The letter should be going out any day now.
Last month, Vancouver Council voted unanimously to a motion that directs the federal government to create clear, enforceable limits on headlight brightness.
I think the federal government is going to have to act on this.
And it appears it is beginning to. Transport Canada has released an online survey asking road users how headlight glare affects them, as well as how vehicle or lighting features may influence how people experience night driving. It's a measure that Ducker is encouraged by.
Because I feel that there's going to be some serious incidents coming up, which is going to result in some big-time lawsuits, and then people are really going to start paying attention to what a problem this actually is.
Brendan Strain, CTV News, Saanich.
A Vancouver Island midwife is speaking up after a bureaucratic nightmare has pulled her out of the delivery room. The issue is an English language test for a Scottish-born woman with a master's degree. CTV's Penny Daflos now on the paperwork foul-up affecting dozens of expectant parents.
As the provincial government was proudly announcing how many healthcare workers they'd poached from the U.S.,
more than 400 healthcare professionals have accepted job offers.
Heather Gilchrist watched with deep frustration.
I've promised mothers and babies I'd be there for them, and it's just a terrible situation.
The veteran midwife came to Canada with a master's degree and spent 2 years getting certified by the BC College of Nurses and Midwives.
Placements and Canadian exams and registration and fees.
She began delivering babies in Victoria in September. Everything seemed fine until 2 weeks ago.
I finally received the very first correspondence from the IRCC, which was to say that I had had my permit refused.
Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada said Gilchrist hadn't submitted an English language test, so the Scottish-born woman did so that day. But the agency had taken so long to contact her, she may have to leave the country before reapplying.
Immigration is purely federal jurisdiction, but the Office for BC's Minister of Health tells CTV News they're working to provide support and see if there's a way to resolve this issue.
Because there's already a shortage of OBGYNs in BC, leading to some Metro Vancouver hospitals turning away patients in labor.
Healthcare for women in this province have never been worse.
And sending them elsewhere.
We just want to sincerely apologize for the disruption and the stress.
Immigration Canada tells CTV News there's a number to call for reconsideration and acknowledges it's improving its website so that applicants can actually attach their proof of language where the agency expects it. In the meantime, Gilchrist, her colleagues, and patients are in limbo.
I want to stay. I'm happy here. I've worked incredibly hard to be here. And this isn't a reflection of how I feel about Canada. I just need somebody with sense to intervene and let me get back to my work.
If not, the bureaucratic snafu could mean BC will lose someone trained to deliver babies at a time we can ill afford to do so. Penny Jaffla, CTV News, Vancouver.
The FIFA World Cup is 80 days away, and in just 7 days, people in Victoria can get a taste of the world's most beautiful game. The front lawn of the legislature looks a little dreary today. In a week's time, though, it'll be transformed into a space fit for a proper party. Victoria is hosting a one-day test event next Tuesday from 11 to 7 called Canada Celebrates, with music, food, and cultural programming. There will be screens to watch 3 games, including one that decides who Canada plays in a World Cup match. It's basically a practice viewing party ahead of Canada Celebrates events across the country as this country prepares to co-host the World Cup for the first time.
We're hoping for a really beautiful day, so you can bring your lawn chairs, you can bring your blankets, you can bring some snacks, but there's also going to be so much to do and see there, like you can buy food there and stuff too. So yeah, we want you to come down and enjoy. It's going to be a really fun day, and it's going to be like the start, the kickoff of what FIFA World Cup in our city is going to look like.
That is our afternoon drive host, Angelina Rye at 107.3 Virgin Radio, who is emceeing the festivities. The FIFA World Cup runs from June 11th to July 19th. Vancouver is hosting 7 matches, including 2 with Team Canada. Saanach's Rithitz Bog Park has received $10,000 in federal funding to help protect 2 at-risk species that call the bog home. The Vancouver Island beggar ticks, a rare wetland plant with large yellow flowers, and the northern red-legged tree frog will benefit from the funds. The funding will support the development and implementation of a wetland stewardship plan focused on threat abatement and restoration. Saanich hopes to reintroduce the plant back into its natural habitat while also restoring the frog's natural environment.
The Vancouver Island beggar ticks haven't been seen at Chatterton Marsh or Rithitz Bog since 2012. So we're hoping to change that by reintroducing them to the site. And then the northern red-legged frogs, they've mostly been seen anecdotally throughout the years, but they're facing some challenges with climate change as the site has longer periods of summer drought, and the site is drying up more.
Saanich expects to use a portion of the money to begin mitigating reed canary grass that has been taking over the marsh, which is the home to both the beggar ticks and red-legged frogs. Mechanical issues have canceled at least 4 sailings on BC ferries today between Swartz Bay and Tsawwassen. Service resumed on the Queen of New Westminster today for the 4 p.m. sailing leaving Tsawwassen. The company says the ship, which services the busiest sailing route, had mechanical difficulty with the pitch control. The 62-year-old vessel is the oldest in the fleet. BC Ferries says there are challenges with an aging fleet and limited backup capacity. 4 new major vessels are currently being built but won't go into service until at least 2029. Meanwhile, BC Ferries is expanding service for the Horseshoe Bay Langdale route. It will include 120 additional sailings during shoulder seasons, including 2 late afternoon trips when demand is highest. Despite record traffic on that route last year, it lost more than $30 million before government subsidies. A Vancouver Island cyclist is getting ready to spend 24 hours in the saddle. Kevin Nunn is one of 9 riders with the End-to-End Cycle Relay, which raises money for the Island Kids Cancer Association. The inaugural ride happened last year, taking riders from Victoria to Port Hardy and back. As part of Nunn's fundraising efforts, he's riding around UVic's Ring Road again and again and again from Friday at noon to noon the next day. People are welcome to bring a donation and cheer him on or join him for a few laps.
So it prepares you both physically, mentally, and when the time comes and they know the reason why you're doing it, yeah, there'll be no stopping us.
Now, we confirm bathroom breaks are allowed during the 24-hour ride. The end-to-end relay is June 16th to 18th, where pairs of cyclists will cover 50-kilometer legs at a time. Some big names are on the ticket for this year's Phillips Brewing Backyard Music Festival. Grammy winner Chance the Rapper will headline Friday night. Other names include Father John Misty and Modest Mouse. Victoria natives John and Roy will also perform. This year, the festival will take place over just one weekend instead of several over the course of the summer. Single day and full weekend tickets for the July festival go on sale tomorrow. Still to come, investigating the final moments of an Air Canada Express flight.
You have to know where ground vehicles and aircraft are. So in this case, that vehicle did not have a transponder.
And what the black boxes reveal about the tragic timeline of the crash.
12 degrees in Victoria right now. Wind hasn't been that much of an issue for most of the day, but man, has it picked up in the last hour or so. 50 gusting to 80 kilometers per hour. More on that, more on the wind warnings elsewhere around the island right after the break.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next vacation by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
Josh joins us now. What are you serving up in the weather buffet today?
Well, you got wind warnings still in effect for a good chunk of the island. That wind warning does not include Victoria, but some of the strongest gusts that I've seen so far through the afternoon have been in the last hour in Victoria. 50 gusting to 80 kilometer per hour wind right now. Comox is gusting up over 60, closer to 70 earlier in the day today. You get temperatures at 13 degrees. We hit 14 for a daytime high. So there's your warning for all the areas in green: Comox North, inland areas along the west coast. Victoria not included in that, although we're pretty close to wind warning criteria gusts right now, and that'll probably persist for the next couple of hours before the wind starts to die down. Here's a nice little change. Instead of this atmospheric river, this hose pointed right at the island, it has shifted a long ways to the south. So there are still some pockets of showers and periods of rain in the forecast. Higher elevations, a little bit of wet snow as well over the course of the next couple of days. But this is not going to be heavy, steady rain for most areas. Best chance for rain tomorrow morning in Victoria. I think as the day goes on, after lunchtime, should start to see a little bit of clearing later in the day. A little different story further north, where periods of rain will be off and on through the day. Gusts won't be as bad as what we're expecting tonight, but still about 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. High of 5 in the north tomorrow. Back to double digits by Friday. Chance of some periods of rain again on Thursday, and then scattered showers for Friday. Drier for inland areas by the time we hit the end of the weekend, into the weekend. Warmer as well. A couple of cool and wet days, though. Periods of rain 6 degrees tomorrow and 6 with some more rain on Thursday. Out on the west coast, wind warning in effect for tonight. Gusts in some areas could be up around 100 kilometers per hour. Through the day tomorrow, it won't be that windy, but gusts will still be 50 to 60. More rain on Thursday, and then a little warmer, a little drier for Friday and Saturday. Chance of some scattered showers, especially later in the day in Comox. High of 10. Showers in the forecast and 10 degrees again on Thursday, but you get some sunshine breaking through the clouds for Friday and the weekend. Early showers in Nanaimo tomorrow, clearing in the afternoon. High of 10 with a chance of scattered showers Thursday, and then double digits for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we're into the low to mid-teens by Friday, Saturday, Sunday here in Victoria. Tomorrow, that chance of showers through the morning, gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour, and a high of 10, which is still pretty close to average. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So some more wind for tonight, a little breezy tomorrow, but a break by the end of the week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Josh. Investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board began their first full day of examination into that deadly Air Canada Express crash that killed 2 Canadian pilots and injured dozens of others. Among the questions being raised, why did the fire truck not have a transponder to trigger a warning system? CTV's Adrian Gabriel reports.
With the twisted, tangled wreckage of Air Canada Express Flight 8646 still strewn across LaGuardia Airport's runway 4, New details today on the tragic chain of events. The U.S. Port Authority fire truck that collided with the Air Canada Express passenger plane didn't have a tracking device on board to alert LaGuardia Airport's surface detection equipment of its location.
You have to know where ground vehicles and aircraft are. So in this case, that vehicle did not have a transponder.
We're also learning crucial details from the final moments recorded inside the cockpit as the Air Canada flight made its final descent.
At 54 seconds, the flight crew acknowledged that the airplane was 500 feet above the ground and on a stable approach. At 25 seconds, Truck 1 requested to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 20 seconds, the tower cleared Truck 1 and company to cross runway 4. At 9 seconds, the tower instructed Truck 1 to stop.
Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Truck 1, stop.
At least 10 calls to stop went unanswered as air traffic control watched the scene unfold in real time. The impact claiming the life of pilot Antoine Foray, who grew up southwest of Montreal. Foray's brother Cedric sharing this childhood photo on Facebook while writing in part, "Have a good flight, my brother. Oh yes, we've heard the phrase often, but this time it will be the last. You left us again. Too soon to say goodbye. I love you, my brother. You can leave with your head held high." At Seneca College campuses today, Canadian flags are at half-mast for co-pilot Mackenzie Gunther, who graduated with honors in aviation technology. There are also stories of survival. Flight attendant Solange Tremblay suffered multiple leg fractures after she was ejected from the aircraft while still strapped to her jump seat, her family calling her survival miraculous. Aviation experts believe the pilots may have saved the lives of dozens of passengers.
The crew, in my opinion, heroically did what they could to slow the aircraft down and to lessen the impact.
This comes as confirmation that 3 Canadian Transportation Safety Board inspectors arrived at the crash scene this morning to work in lockstep with their U.S. counterparts.
They are entitled to tour the wreckage. They also have access to most of the recorded information that will be collected during the investigation.
As for the flight data recorder, analysis on that is expected to begin today, with a transcript of the cockpit voice recorder released tomorrow. Adrian Gobrel, CTV News, Queens, New York.
Turning to the war in the Middle East, where the war in Iran is approaching its 26th day as conflicting claims emerge over possible peace talks. Donald Trump is still insisting that Iran wants to make a deal, and he teased some kind of a gift from the country.
They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not
Trump wouldn't go into detail, only saying that this present was oil and gas related. The U.S. president also told reporters there has already been a regime change in Iran.
One thing to me.
Coming up, Sharon's story. Adam finds out how a View Royal woman was inspired to befriend orangutans and take calico cats on sailing adventures. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
Happen. Send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
107.3 Virgin Radio is Victoria's #1 hit music station. Home of Bailey and Johnny in the morning. Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to 107.3 Virgin Radio everywhere.
Finally, Adam finds out the story behind an 80-year-old View Royal woman's decision to write her first children's story on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
For as long as she can recall, Sharon Stevens Smith has been compelled to make lists.
Write everything down that you want to do in your life. Doesn't matter how ridiculous it is.
From childhood through to her early 20s, Sharon's list of life goals was relatively consistent.
Ride a motorcycle, go to Africa, work with the primates, and one day I'm going to write a children's book.
While she worked as a nurse for a few years before becoming a realtor for almost 40, Sharon always returned to her list Like when she bought a motorcycle, sight unseen.
Didn't even have a license. Never even sat on a motorcycle.
Yet 3 weeks later, Sharon had taken lessons, earned her license, and rode from Vancouver Island to a major bike rally in South Dakota.
So it was very unusual to see a woman in those days, and the trucks and everything would go by me, and they'd give me the thumbs up, like, there's a crazy woman on a bike.
Sharon crossed Africa off her list 3 times after returning to university as a mature student, partaking in archaeological digs, and inspiring a marriage proposal.
The chief wanted to buy me for 3 camels and 4 goats. I said, first of all, is that a good price or not before I commit?
As for studying primates, Sharon traveled to Borneo to do research with the world's leading ape expert and befriended a rescue orangutan named Herbie.
Oh, he was a real character. We had lots of fun.
Now, 20 years after crossing offshore sailing with calico cats off her list, the expedition has inspired the now 80-year-old to cross off, write a children's book, too.
You better get cracking here. You haven't got that many more years left. That's how I look at things.
But Sharon is also sharing Runty and Trudy's grand sailing adventure with the public, with the hope that publishing the true story will inspire readers of all ages to embrace the unfamiliar and live a courageous life.
We have one life. Let's make the best we can.
And no matter what's on your list, Sharon says, just commit to do it.
The great thing is once you check the list off and you think, okay, next.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, View Royal.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by Coastal Community Credit Union. Bank happy at Coastal Community Credit Union.
That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.